South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show. Every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles and Alex White.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday and happy Sports Equinox. We're very excited to be here with you. Sports by the Book here at the South Point Studio. I'm Alex White, co-hosting with Kenny White, my father and professional sports bettor. 4 professional sports going on tonight, and a rare night. We don't have college football, so we can really focus on these 4, at least talk about a few of NBA and NHL, because there are a lot of games on that slate. But a big Monday Night Football and the World Series. Let's talk about this past weekend, actually, really quick, because we had a walk-off Grand Slam in Game 1 of the World Series and a walk-off Hail Mary yesterday where the Commanders beat the Bears. So a good weekend, a lot of fun action. How was your weekend?
Well, you put a lot there on my plate. It's like a smorgasbord of questions and answers. Brian Blessing used to do that to me, by the way. Brian would ask a 6-minute question. And I would say, Brian, I forgot what you asked me, Brian. I forgot what the question was that you went on for so long. But first of all, Freddie Freeman, let's start there with the World Series. Amazing. But we go rewind to the Yankees going to the bullpen and bringing in Nestor Cortez. And as soon as I saw that, I said, oh, no, it's over with. Because Nestor Cortez is not going to get anybody out. And my feeling as a baseball guy, I don't care if it's the World Series, the manager should have been fired. Just fired right there on the spot. It was the most dumbest move you could possibly make. I preach about it all the time. Anybody off more than 10 days is not going to have their command. And Nestor Cortez isn't anything special. The Yankee fans were happy when he went on the injured list. They were cheering. Thank God we don't have to watch Nestor pitch. That's how bad he was in September, August and September. And I'm like, and I'm making a case for him against Yankee fans. He's a pretty decent pitcher. I think he's okay as a starter because he's got 4 pitches. He's not a closer. He's nowhere near a guy that's a closer. You want somebody that's throwing 98 or with a nasty slider. And Nestor Cortez doesn't do either. And he hadn't pitched in 38 days. And when they showed him walking in, I said, the game's over. I may lose my total now. I'm under 9, and the game's over. The Yankees have no chance to win.
And you pushed. So you're saying...
I pushed my total, yeah. I was very fortunate. I'm thinking I'm going to win my total anyway because a 3-run home run makes it 8 runs, and I'm going to win. But I'm going to lose a small bet on the Yankees. I know. I just knew I was. I knew I had no chance. And for a major league manager, he should know better. Stay with the guy that's in the game who's been pitching. He's sharp. He has command. I don't care if he's facing 2 lefties in a row. I'd rather have that guy throwing change-ups lowing away and you're going to face Betts anyway. You know, you're going to face Ohtani. You're probably going to walk him, but you take your chances with Betts, and it was just the wrong move to make. But amazing to go back. These two haven't played since 81. Now, Kirk Gibson's home run was in 88. He was injured. He came off the bench because he had a leg injury and couldn't play. Came off the bench and hits a pinch hit home run. Freddie Freeman didn't do that exact thing, but Freddie Freeman has had the ankle injury, right, and he's been hurt and he's been banged up. And for it to be a lefty, you know, it was just pretty amazing, and I was extremely happy for Freddie Freeman.
Well, so now Aaron Boone, if they don't win this World Series, that might be a little scary for his job there, especially if you think he made a big mistake in the first game.
Good job, but that is a big mistake. It really was a big mistake. You don't put him in that situation. If you're going to use him, you put him in the 5th or 6th inning, and that early. You don't bring him in to finish a game out against the greatest hitter in the world. He was very fortunate. Ohtani swung at the first pitch and just missed it, and the left fielder made an unbelievable play. But they have to walk Betts because you can't go against the righty because Betts would have hit it out of the park. It was just BP. You can't bring in a guy throwing BP. That's what they did.
Well, we will get to Game 3. Now they do go to New York. We'll get to that shortly. But little recap of the weekend. College football, nothing too crazy. Texas A&M did beat LSU. Now they are the last undefeated SEC team in conference, that is. And besides that, not too much in college. Yesterday was a pretty wild day in the NFL, though.
College football, the AP top 25 teams are doing very well against unranked teams. I think they're on a 46-0 run, something like that. So that'll start.
Is that straight up or against the spread?
Just straight up,
okay.
straight up. No, I didn't get a chance to go look at the spread. That was something I read and verified it, and it was true. But I didn't have a chance to go back and look at the spread because I don't have the AP top 25 on my computer. If I did, I could run that. I guess I should probably do my own top 25 and see how they do each week, and I could give you ATS records on those. But college football seemed a little more back to normal for me. I liked a lot of the results, and I thought it was a good day. I feel like my numbers are really starting to take effect, and I'm still getting good line value. So I knew I had the good line value in the first place. We did a survey on our FCS, and have 92% of my games. I have bet the EV on
Mike.
92% of my FBS games. And it was a rough week until last week, which last week was the best week we've had. This week was a good week. It was a winning week. It could have been a great week, but just a couple scores just missed. So getting close to really having a dominating week.
Well, let's go to tonight's NFL game. We've got the New York Giants going to Pittsburgh. This number has really not moved all week. The Steelers are a 6-point favorite at home. Total pretty low, 36.5. I think we both like the home team here. It's just a matter of whether you're willing to lay the points or not.
Yes, and I'm kind of surprised it hasn't moved. As you said, 6 at the South Point. If we got the ticket count from behind the counter, we would see an extremely high ticket count on the Steelers, I'm sure. And telling me that, professional money is on the Giants, taking the Giants. It is a must win for the Giants. They need this game badly. 2-5 on the season, and not doing much better against the spread. 2-4-1. Pittsburgh's going to have a great crowd. They're the better football team. I have a better offense, not a far better defense. The Giants, the one thing that they've done well is played good defense. And when you look at their points allowed, 4 of the last 5 games, they've allowed 20 points or less to their opponents. So the lone one was the Eagles, where they allowed 28 in that game. But got somebody calling me, asking me for a score update. So this Giant team needs the game badly, but I don't know if they have the talent. Daniel Jones, 63% completions, okay. 6 yards a pass, bad. 6 touchdowns, 4 INTs.
Yeah.
Both really bad. His median game, 22 for 34, no INTs, 205 yards, no interceptions. You kind of take that. That's against his entire schedule. the Pittsburgh Steelers might be the best defense that he's faced this year. They are 6-1 to the under this year. Brian Daboll was the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills for 4 years. That's how he got the job to be the Giants head coach.
Very good OC there with Josh Allen.
Very good OC there. Since he's been the Giants head coach, he's now 25-15 under. His games all go under, home, road, doesn't matter. They can't score on offense. They've been held to 15 or less or 18 or less in 5 of their 7 games. Their offense is just terrible. Now they're facing a great defense. I just don't see how they put points on the board in this game. I think they're going to have to be more aggressive. And the Cleveland Browns, and I made 2 mistakes yesterday. Cleveland Browns, their quarterback, Deshaun Watson, out for the year. I think he brings bad karma with him. I think that a lot of the players on the team probably didn't like him, and most of the players probably were not allowed to associate with him. Anyone who's married, their wife probably said, you're not hanging out with him. So they were horrible with him. And now all of a sudden, Jameis Winston steps in week 8 and has an all-pro game. It's a top 5, game of the week, and he hasn't played. But the big change, Kevin Stefanski gave up the play calling duties to Ken Dorsey. If Stefanski would have been calling the plays like he normally does, Winston doesn't have that type of game, and they don't throw the long touchdown pass to end the game. Stefanski's playing for a field goal. Ken Dorsey's playing to win the game. And that's the difference in the two guys now. So Cleveland's going to be better without Deshaun Watson and with Dorsey as the play caller. Fast forward to this game, Brian Daboll's probably the one calling all the plays in this situation, the Giants, and he's doing a horrible job of doing it. He's calling it like he doesn't want to lose his job. Instead of winning a game, he's trying not to lose, and that's a problem. So Pittsburgh, for me, better offense, better defense, and better coaching. And under, this number is really low at 36.5, but it could be even a lower scoring game. Again, the trends, the Giants are 6-1 under this year. 19. That's for him 26-15. That is 26-15 under Daboll as the head coach of the Giants, and then Tomlin was 63-36 under coming into this year, the last 100 games, and he's 4-3 to the under. So could be a very low-scoring game.
Do have to be a little bit careful here. We saw last week with Russell Wilson starting at quarterback, the Steelers were able to put 37 points on a very good New York Jets defense. So that has sparked their offense, just like you were talking about Jameis Winston. Do we think Russell Wilson gets better and looks for the full game? Because we saw he struggled a little bit in the first half and then looked really good in the second half.
That's a great question. And I did a Brian Blessing on you. I took 6 minutes to go over that game and not allow you to jump in to talk. Justin Fields lost his job because of a hamstring injury. He completed 66% of his passes, 6.9 yards a pass, 5 touchdowns, only 1 INT, and he's the second leading rusher on the team. He was doing a really good job, but he couldn't play. Russell Wilson came back. Wilson did do a good job of yards per pass, 264, almost 9 yards a pass, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. As long as Russell Wilson takes care of the football, they're okay, but they have 2 quarterbacks now. And then there's a quarterback controversy in my mind there because they're both pretty equal, and Wilson and Fields may be better.
Well, they need to use Fields in certain situations, right? And I know that doesn't always work with the quarterback package, but Fields, he was healthy. Tomlin wanted to see what he had with Russell Wilson going into last week, and then that injury kind of happened this week. Yeah. So now that just makes it easy for him to say Russell Wilson will continue starting from here. But offensively, it did open up a lot, open up the field for them with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, well, if we were going to get the Russell Wilson we know of 4 or 5 years ago,
right,
we might, because Russell Wilson was a winner. And you put a winner in there with Mike Tomlin at quarterback with his defense. This defense has been great this year. Looking at the numbers that they've given up, they've allowed 15 or less in 5 of their 7 games. That might be the way to go, is Giants team total under.
Yeah. I think we just talked 18.
It's probably in the 15.5 range, 14.5. I would go under 14.5 with them.
I do like that as well. People do say Daniel Jones is much better away and on the road than he is at home, but we'll see how that goes. That is another reason why their offense has really struggled. He had an injury. Dable had to work with a few different quarterbacks last year, and we haven't really gotten Daniel Jones back. We had one good year from him, and that's it.
Yeah, so for some reason they're not mixing together, because I do think Daniel Jones is a better quarterback than what we've seen. I've watched him with the eyeball test. I like what I see out of him. Very athletic, very strong arm, quick release. It's just maybe he doesn't have the right pieces around him. I know he doesn't have the right offensive line, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But neither does Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's offensive line isn't the greatest. So that's, I think, both teams' biggest downfall is their O-lines.
Let's move to Major League Baseball, Game 3 in the World Series. Dodgers do lead this series 2-0 now, going back to New York for 3 games. A little surprised by the pitchers going tonight, and I'm curious on your thoughts, but Walker Buehler for the Dodgers and Clark Schmidt will go for the Yankees. Were you expecting him to get the first start here at home for the Yankees?
I was.
Okay.
That's all they have right now in starting pitching. These two teams are deep in their bullpens because they've had a lot of injuries to their pitching staff. So Clark Schmidt, definitely the guy to start in this spot. What they really need to do is bring in Nestor Cortes in this game in the 4th or 5th inning, because they're going to need Nestor Cortes to start Game 7 if they get that far. And that would be scary if you got to go with him then. But they may not have to. They may need him, though. They're going to need him, so they need to get him in this game, I think, in the middle innings. Not late, but in the middle innings, have him face Ohtani and have him face Freddie Freeman again in this game. So at home, he'll be much better, and he just pitched in a game. He will be better tonight if they have to use him. But both pitchers, Walker Buehler off 12 days and Clark Schmidt off 11 days. I already had this total at 9.5. With that situation and both of these pitchers really only slightly above average pitchers, this leads me to a nice over in this game. And I know we're going to make an Equinox parlay today.
Yes, we are.
And the over will be in my parlay. We've already knocked off one game. Give me the Steelers.
Money line?
I guess I'll go money line. 95% of the bets in the book are on the Steelers money line. I think they're going to cover. If they're going to win, they're going to cover. That happens 80%. I'll lay the 6.
Okay.
And give me the over in the World Series game tonight. So I've got 2 of my 4 in my Equinox parlay.
Right now, Yankees minus 142 at home. Kind of a desperation spot. Need this game. Total 8.5. We are going with the over for our baseball play in our parlay.
You're going to do a different parlay than me, or are we just going to go the same one?
Just same one.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
I can't parlay the team totals, so I couldn't use that Giants under.
Why, they won't let you do that?
No.
Really? No, at the window even?
I don't think so. Maybe we'll have to double check that.
I mean, if it doesn't correlate, there's no reason not to let you parlay it. If they're willing to take a straight bet on it,
yeah,
and it doesn't correlate, it should be parlayable, but we'll see.
But let's go on to some NBA. You have a lot of pace stats for us for the season so far. We'll do a little catch up really quick.
We're going to the NBA? We're done with baseball? That's it for the World Series, huh?
That's
I don't know
it.
if I have
We got
much more to say
over.
about myself, but I don't feel like we're moving fast. We might be out of here at 9:30. They might kick us out.
We have a lot to get to. We have a whole sheet here of NBA and NHL games for the day. We also have our college football top 10 we're going to do in the back half, and run percentage, pass percentage, all that fun stuff for college football. Unless you do want to give us the pitchers, if you want to go through their numbers and their last starts that we have seen them, or anything else. But we do know we like the over. And coming into this World Series, we knew there was going to be opportunity to take the overs because neither of these teams have great pitching rotations going right now. You mentioned it, the injuries, but both lineups are fantastic with these two teams.
Two great hitting teams. And, Walker Buehler is a guy that, we talk about like Zach Wheeler Day. Mm-hmm. That a guy that we know when he's pitching. I would go with Zach Gallen Day for the Diamondbacks, another guy that we knew that was just going to win. And there are several others. I can't
Skubal.
Tarek Skubal Day was big this year, that when he pitched, you just bet the Tigers. So Walker Buehler Day turned into betting against him. It was kind of a Patrick Corbin, where you bet against Patrick Corbin because he just got beat up every game. Now, Patrick Corbin did have a nice finish to the season. He pitched great down the stretch. But Walker Buehler, same thing, coming back, I think it was the Tommy John surgery, threw in the minors, got beat up. That's no problem. That figures to happen. Get called up to the big leagues. Now you're going to be focused because all you were trying to do was get ready for the big leagues in that minor league stint. But then you get hit so hard in the big leagues, you're sent back down to AAA. And now you've got to pitch well at AAA and you don't. And he just got beat up in AAA. I was betting against him in AAA games. He was so bad. And then he comes back up to the big leagues because they need him out of necessity, and he still can't get anybody out. He did pitch better his last couple of games. I bet against him when he faced the Padres in the playoffs, and he gave up, I think, 6 in the second or the third inning. But Dave Roberts stuck with him, which I was very surprised. So to me, that meant Dave Roberts said, I think you're close. Even though you got hit today by the Padres, I think you're close. And he pitched a perfect 4th and 5th inning in that game and then came out. And then his next outing, he pitched tremendous against the Mets. That was Walker Buehler, who we normally would see. Now, Buehler's last 5 starts for the Dodgers, his median numbers, 5 innings, 4 hits. Oh, no, that's Clark Schmidt. This is Walker Buehler. 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Not bad.
Oh.
He is going to give up 2 earned runs in 5 innings. And that's in the regular season against lesser hitting teams than the Yankees. And this is on the road. His road number's a little lesser than home. So I got a feeling he's going to give up at least 3 in the first 5. Clark Schmidt, regular season, last 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Almost identical. He just gives up 1 less hit per 5 innings, but he does give up 2 earned runs. I got a feeling he's going to give up 2 or 3. I think this is a 3-3 game after 5. And it could be more than that because of how far each guy is off. Buehler, 12 days off. Clark Schmidt, 11 days off from their last start. Their command is not going to be good. And you've got these 2 lineups that are rocking and rolling. This is everyone bet game 1 over. Everyone bet game 2 over. I got a feeling everyone's going to bet again tonight over. It did go from 8-8 to 8.5. And here at the South Point, I think that's what we're looking at right now is 8.5. And it could be juiced to the over. Yes, it is.
Yep.
$1.25. So you got to lay $1.25 to win 100 over the 8.5. When I talked about this game this morning, there are 8.5 flats everywhere, but now you're looking at 8.5 over. You're going to see this total close 9, and it may go 9 over. There'll be a lot of money over the 9 as well on this game. So get some 8 over -20 right now if you can somewhere.
Very good news for the Dodgers. Ohtani did have a scare with a shoulder injury, but he seems to be good to go for Game 3. So.
That's big. Yeah,
yes.
Obviously big for the Dodgers, obviously big for the over.
Yes, very much so.
I think the Yankees win. I think they pull out a 6-5 win tonight.
6-5 win for the Yankees. Just probably too big of a price here to lay with the Yankees, -142.
Yeah, and again, I wouldn't lay a 1.5 because at home you don't get that last at bat if they're winning 6-5 going to the 9th. But Juan Soto, I think, comes up big tonight. Really,
I mean, we talked about Garrett Cole and how big it was for the Yankees to get those wins when he was starting, right? And that had to be a brutal loss for them.
Yes.
They score in the 10th, top of the 10th, and then to give up a grand slam in that first game. But we will see Garrett Cole again, probably Game 4.
Yeah, where do I have Garrett Cole? No, Game 4, I've got a bullpen game.
Okay.
I think both teams have to go to a bullpen game, and then we'll see Garrett Cole in Game 5. And then we'll see Garrett Cole in relief if it goes Game 7.
Ooh.
He'll pitch, he'll close. He'll be the guy in at the end of the game facing Freddie Freeman instead of Nestor Cortez.
And you feel pretty good that the Yankees will make this a series and we will go to at least Game 6, Game 7?
I'm hoping they do.
Yeah.
I think they can. I mean, if history, remember when they played in 81, the Yankees won the first 2 games of the series at home. And then a rookie named Fernando Valenzuela won Game 3, 5-4 for the Dodgers. and they won game 4 and game 5. The Dodgers did, each by 1 run. And then they went back to New York and won the series after being down 2-0. The Yankees find themselves in the same situation the Dodgers did, 44 years ago.
Very interesting.
43 years ago.
Well, that's it for us for the NFL game and the baseball game. Now we're going to move to some NBA. Just a little talk here. We do have a ton of games on the board, and I want to just go over the standings a little bit because if people are like most people, and they
NBA?
were just focused on football all week. Let's get them caught up a little bit. If you have not been paying attention, the Denver Nuggets are struggling. They are 0-2. I shouldn't say struggling, but they have not got a win just yet. They're also last right now in points per game. At the top of the West, the Lakers 3-0 to start the season. Oklahoma City also 3-0. Memphis 2-1. Phoenix Suns, who we did talk about and had them last week, 2-1. And Clippers have even found a way to win them. And Golden State, Minnesota, and the Pelicans all 2-1 at the top of the West. Looking at the East, Cleveland Cavaliers playing very good basketball right now, 3-0. Boston Celtics 3-0 as expected, and they've been winning by a lot of points in those games. Hawks and Magic 2-1, and then we've got a whole list that have just 1 wins on the year. As I mentioned, though, a lot of games here tonight. Any jump out to you that you like?
Well, I finished this up right before the show to get on. I'm updating all of the games every morning and trying to get my numbers out as soon as possible. And, I think that you want to bet hot teams right now that are playing well, obviously. It's current form, and you want to make sure you got a good team going for you. You mentioned the Cavaliers, off to a great start, leading the NBA in scoring, number 1, 128 a game, and number 6 defensively. The Warriors, number 3 in offense, number 2 on defense. That's even after last night's loss, which was a shocker. But Cleveland's playing the Knicks. The Knicks did get their first win over Indiana, and they played very well in that game. But Indiana's not playing well. They lost again yesterday, and that could have been a letdown from the New York loss. But Cleveland is playing well. I did make this line higher, though, so I can't even bet that. I made the Knicks 7, and I do. That's a mistake. I didn't make them 7. I got the same line in every single game. So I didn't update that on my sheet. At least I didn't email this out yet. I know I need to change that. My number, 9.5 on the Knicks. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the Celtics. I'm really good to this morning. See what you're working with? The Knicks 1 and 220. Knicks 1 and 220. Now, I still have a low number on Cleveland on my under and over with them because they were one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. They got 2 rim protectors in their starting 5, and when you have that, you're going to be a tough defensive team. So Kenny Atkinson is the new head coach there in his first year. He has them playing very well, and that's what new coaches like to do. J.J. Redick has the Lakers off to a good start. Yep. I expect Budenholzer for the Suns to have his team, playing well early. New coaches want to start fast. Guys that have been around for a while, they know it's a marathon and not a sprint. So a team like Denver, it's kind of not surprising that they get off to a slow start. Denver has done that before, and they will pick it up. So looking at my numbers, Alex, I know you asked me, do you like anybody in the NBA first? And I'll look at mine. Well,
that is a very intriguing game there with the Lakers going to Phoenix. Suns just a 4-point favorite. I do think talent-wise, the Suns are by far the better team. But, you can never count LeBron James out, so you're getting 4 points there. So did you have a number on that one?
Yeah, I made the Suns 3.5, 227.5.
So right there.
Now, I can't give any type of revenge factor for the Lakers beating Phoenix the last time these two played, but they have played some high-scoring games. By my number again, right there on the total. The Spurs, as the team we talked about, as being a surprise team in the NBA. They lost to Dallas their first game out at Dallas. It's not a bad loss. Dallas is a really good basketball team, but they really put it to the Rockets and had a huge lead going into the fourth and kind of cruised home. But they beat the Rockets, and they're playing again tonight. Little maybe revenge factor for the Rockets. I made the Spurs 3, but I got to factor in that revenge factor and make this game probably about Spurs won. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a tight game, but I don't really have a big advantage in my number in that game.
Well, we are getting 2.5 with the Spurs.
Oh, no, I understand that. Yeah, there's a small advantage there with the Spurs. I would play them. I think they got to keep playing, even though Popovich has been there 28 years. It's been a while since he's had a really good team. So I think he's excited with this team because Wembanyama at 20 years old could be the best player in the NBA. He is that good. It's amazing what that young guy can do. He's going to really turn heads this year. The Nuggets, as you mentioned, off to an 0-2 start. Does that mean they have to wake up tonight? I don't know. They're on the road at Toronto, and I think Toronto can hang around in the game. I think 8's too many. Again, the Nuggets will be happy to win the game. They don't really need to cover the spread, and it's up to 9 now, so you can get +9 with Toronto in that game. Another one that I may take's Detroit going against Miami in this spot. I only made it 5.5 and taking 9 with Detroit. Again, I'm looking for as many dogs as I can get and looking for unders if I can find unders.
Miami, another team that typically starts out a little bit slow. We do have to pick one game, though, to add to our...
Oh, that's true. We need an
Equinox
NBA game.
parlay.
What are you looking at? That's the best one. What did you get out of what I just said? Did you pick anything up that you might have said, nah, I like that because you said that?
I think the Spurs +2.5 because, it's clearly a mismatch there with Houston. Don't have high expectations for the Rockets this year, and we do for the Spurs.
Yeah, I don't, I always say don't lay points with a bad team. Houston's not a good team. They're a weaker team in the NBA, and the numbers will bear it out in the long run. And I think the Spurs are the better basketball team, even though there's home revenge. Yeah, let's take the Spurs plus the 2.5.
Unless you want to go with the Lakers getting points, but that is up against a really good Phoenix Suns team.
Yeah, it is a good Suns team, and LeBron,
you don't have a huge difference either. You made it 3.5.
Yeah, I'm right there on the number. Bradley Beal's questionable with an elbow injury, but he should play. If they're betting the Suns, they're expecting him to play. And the NBA injuries are so important of a factor. Travel is a very important, factor in the NBA. So you've got to always check those injuries. RJ Barrett for Toronto, questionable tonight, should come back and play. That will definitely help out their cause. Porzingis still out for the Celtics. No real injuries in Cleveland and New York. San Antonio, their lineup looks good. I know Trey Jones is out. So
Ryan was asking you to talk a little bit more into the mic because you were...
Oh, sorry, Ryan. That's why it's good if I had one on me, then I carry it with me where I go.
Yeah, you can move around as much as you want.
Good. Hold on. I'll be right back. I got to go make a bet at the sports book. And then you can hear me talk to the... Hey, make sure I make the right Equinox parlay.
Yes.
Okay,
well, you kind of just made a case against the Nuggets as well, getting 9 points with Toronto. But are we happy with the Spurs?
Well, we're going. The Nuggets we know are really good, and they're going to be good. I know Houston's a below average team, and they're laying points on the road. Let's take the Spurs. We have our third pick in the Equinox parlay.
Okay, it's time to move to hockey. We'll see what we like in this sport. There is one that jumps out to me that I will start with, but it is against a good team. Winnipeg Jets are the last undefeated team. They are 8-0 to start the season. You know this team wants to keep that streak going. They are at home tonight, but they are hosting the Toronto Maple Leafs. So it is a tough game. Toronto's playing good, as they usually do in the regular season, and they have a lot of talent on that team. But just first glance, it's a pretty short price too.
Yeah, you're not laying a big price. Now you do pressure starts to build up a little bit, but you have to use that in your handicap, not the pressure part, but the streak part. I think it's worth 5 cents for every win, and they've won 8 in a row.
They've won 8 in a row.
So you're adding 40 cents to their number. You're betting on Winnipeg tonight, no matter what, I think, because of the streak.
Yes, I am. Now it's just a matter of if they make it into our parlay or not.
Well, I'm not up to date on the NHL, and I know you did a lot of work last night, so I'm leaving the NHL up to you.
Well, there are a couple other intriguing games. And Nashville is starting to play good. They are at Tampa Bay, but man, the Lightning are playing well as well. I brought up Toronto and Winnipeg. Carolina at Vancouver is a very good game, and Carolina starting to play very good hockey as well. Sorry, Ryan, I'm going quickly through these. And then the Calgary Flames at Vegas against the Golden Knights. I think that is also a nice, intriguing one, but we are laying $1.60 with the Knights if we want to throw that one in there.
And there's been money against the Golden Knights. South Point opening up $2 and down to $1.60. So a lot of money for the Flames. And they are a good hockey team, but Vegas has been dominating at home. They're averaging 6 goals a game at home, easy for me to say. And the total 6.5. Now, obviously, they can't keep up that number of scoring 6 goals a game. They're probably going to end up shaking out around 3.5. So they're kind of due for a bad game. I don't want to bet a due factor for our parlay. I do like your Winnipeg bet much, much better.
Okay, we're going to add the Winnipeg Jets. Let's just double check. I don't know why this website's not working for me, but we do need to double check the goalies.
Yeah, you want to make sure
and
Hellebuck is in net.
Yes, we do.
We're not betting Winnipeg if he's not. And the price would be a lot different though if he wasn't starting. Toronto would be $1.20 or $1.30 favorite if they were going to go to their backup goalie.
He is confirmed, but Anthony Stolarz on the other side has been playing very good for the Maple Leafs as well. But I still like Winnipeg. It's still early in the season, so while there is a little pressure, I'm sure they're just having fun playing loose. I mean, they know it's a long season.
Yeah.
It is in their back of their mind, I'm sure, keeping the streak going, but could be just having fun playing their best hockey right now.
Oh, no doubt about it. And, I'm sure Winnipeg is looked down upon by Toronto as cities. And this would be a big game for the Winnipeg Jets because everybody in Winnipeg wants to beat Toronto. Yes. And they want to beat Montreal. So
I forgot about that.
That's such a big game for them. I didn't go back and look and see what they did last year, but I'll have it for you right here in a second and let you know.
Okay. And while you're doing that, I will do a quick update on our 4-team parlay that we are going to put together today. We're going with the Steelers in the NFL -6. We are laying the points. We're going with over 8.5 with the Dodgers and Yankees in game 3. We are taking the 2.5 points with the San Antonio Spurs at home against the Houston Rockets. And then it looks like our 4th leg will be the Winnipeg Jets. We'll try and find the best number, but I believe it is -110 at home against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, the good news for us is they lost both times to Toronto last year. 1-0 in overtime at Toronto, and then came home and Toronto beat them 4-2. So Maple Leafs 2-0 last year. That revenge factor is big, and they beat Hellebuck at Toronto or at Winnipeg. He did not goalie the first game. Brissant did for Toronto, and he lost the game. Hellebuck was in the second one, and he lost 4-2.
Wow.
Lost the first one 1-0 in overtime. It's such a big rivalry. That's what happens in those games. This could be another low-scoring defensive game too. But
I was just going to say, is under 6 the better play? Because
what'd you make the total?
5.5.
5.5. That's enough for an underplay. You're definitely supposed to play that under. I don't know if it's our Equinox parlay. Now, what did you make the side?
Yeah.
What'd you make?
I don't have my notebook.
Oh, you don't have your numbers in front of you?
No, I do not.
All right. And I didn't run the sheet for you, so I apologize. I'm running late. But you had to have Winnipeg the favorite.
Yes.
And adding the 40 cents on for the 8-game winning streak, and this is going to be a huge game in Winnipeg tonight. So Winnipeg's our play.
All right. That's it. That is our 4-team parlay for the day. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, it is all college football. You want to hear all of these stats, so don't go anywhere. This is Sports by the Book.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for bearing with us. We are just getting used to having all four sports going as well. I'm Alex White here with Kenny White here at Sports by the Book at the South Point studio. Just want to give a quick shout out to everybody in our chat. We appreciate you guys all joining us this morning. Ryan C., Minidar, Dean Hilt, Vicarious Vegas, Jerry, good morning. He said that walk-off was a thing of beauty, and I agree. JR, happy Monday. John K., Scott Pritchard, welcome. And that is it for now, but please join the chat. If you cannot see the chat up, that means you're not a subscriber. So you have to hit that subscribe button. In less than 5 minutes, you will be able to join our chat. JR said, hope I don't jinx it, but Boston first half overs are 3-0. It's good to know. We're going to have to, that is Boston Celtics, I believe.
Yeah, first half.
Yeah, can't be, I would have said.
Can't be hockey.
Can't be hockey. Again, thank you all so much. Please follow our social media pages as well. Sports by the Book. On Instagram, it is Sports by the Book LV. We are going to move to some college football here. We are going into week 10 already. I'm sure Chris Andrews and company is working on their numbers right now, and those lines will be up any minute because it's about 9:45 every Monday morning.
Only 5 weeks left of college football.
And then we go right into college basketball with how many?
Well, we're into college basketball. We'll be talking about that next week.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
I believe UNLV's first game is the 3rd of November.
They all play earlier than ever. And it used to be no one started till after Thanksgiving because practices didn't start till October 15th. But it's earlier and earlier every single year now. But 5 weeks left of the college football. Then we have the bowl games and we have the 12-team championship, which will be great. And, you know, that's changed the game so much in college football. And we are talking college football now.
Yep.
Another coach was fired this week. Bloomgren from Rice was fired, and that wakes everybody up. It woke up East Carolina this weekend with Mike Houston getting fired. But you don't see that as much now with the big schools. None of the big schools have fired their coach because of a couple reasons. Athletic directors are worried about if you fire a coach right now, what happens to the program with the transfer portal? Does everybody start to bail? And they don't want that. So we're going to see some retread coaches showing back up, I think, in college football in the next couple of weeks, where you may see a couple of guys fired in the Power Four.
They also have some pretty big contracts that they will be responsible for, so they have to make sure that that is the way they want to go. Southern Miss as well, right? Their coach was fired last week, and they did cover against James Madison. I did double check that one, but
2-1 basically last week with the fired coaches.
Well, let's go to our run percentage, pass percentage, and pace of play going into week 10. We have been tracking this since the beginning of the season and tracking the ATS for these teams. We might have to wait for tomorrow for the actual against the spread numbers, but we will give you the teams as of right now. We'll start with the run-heavy teams. Ryan, if that's okay. Here in college football, of course, remember, This is without the service academies because Navy, Army, and Air Force are the top 3. And then going from there, this is our top run-heavy teams. Are you ready?
I'm ready to go, yeah.
Okay.
Did you print me one out? Because I'm not finding it, but I've got it on my computer, so I can look right here and tell you, I know we have a new fast team, the fastest team in the country, but run-heavy teams?
Yes, we do.
You want to start it off?
Sure. I'll just go down the first 5. We've got UNLV, who has been the number 1 after the service academies throughout the season now at 67%. Tulane at 66%. Central Florida, 64.9%. Louisiana Monroe, you really like that coach, 64.8%. And Jacksonville State, 64%.
And Rich Rod at Jacksonville State. That just figures that he's going to move into the run percentage category of highest run teams. I'm sure you went, okay, I'm off because of those, leaving out the military academies, and you should, and that's, I told you to do that. Sam Houston State, number 6, right there it is on the screen for me. South Carolina, another run-heavy team. Texas A&M, I think, makes their first appearance now, and they were able to run the football against LSU, and that's a big reason why they came out with a win. Mike Elko putting a stamp on the program. When you have a defensive coach like that come in, you're going to play defense. You're going to run the football. You're going to keep your team fresh, and that's why they beat LSU. So look for them to keep that same game plan throughout the rest of the season because that's a recipe for success. Vanderbilt, number 9, and then Arizona State moving into the top 10 for rush teams, and they've had a great year, and they've got one of the youngest coaches in college football.
They have been very impressive. We did not have them being all that competitive this year, and they have. Looking at those last 4, though, South Carolina, Texas A&M, Vandy, and Arizona State, I mean, we know those teams have been covering, and Vanderbilt and South Carolina with some big upsets in that conference, and then A&M right now sitting alone at the top there. They actually had 2 recruits that were there that weekend to watch, or they were visiting for A&M and LSU game.
Yes.
And now they have verbally committed, I think, 4-star recruits.
I think they got it. Yeah, I know they got 2 4-stars. They may have got a couple of other kids. Where Florida State, on the other hand, is losing 4-star guys because of their game. So Florida State's coach may be the next coach fired.
Because their game against Miami? Or just in general this year?
In general, they got upset the first game of the year against Georgia Tech, and in Dublin, they were a 2-touchdown favorite.
Yeah, and it's been a tough year for them. Moving from our top run percentage, we'll go to pass percentage right here. Ryan is ready for us. We've got Syracuse coming in at number 1, 62.7%. San Jose State, 62.5%. Rice, 61.8%. LSU, 61%. And USC, 60%.
And all teams have kind of struggled. USC did well this past weekend in a big win over Rutgers. They came through, but they're having a bad year. LSU as well, not the greatest of years. Rice just fired their coach. I think you'll see a little bit more running from them. San Jose State, for me, again, a shocker. Ken Niumatalolo, their head coach, came from Navy, and I thought he would sprinkle in, triple option variations of that, which I was surprised to see the Kansas City Chiefs have a triple option package. What a smart move. I mean, you don't want to get Patrick Mahomes injured, but I think he's smart enough to get down instead of taking a big hit. But they could run some triple option packages and really throw a wrinkle at a lot of NFL teams. The next 6, I'll let you go.
Okay, we've got North Texas at 59%, who is in the top for the quickest as well, but they are having a good year. Hawaii, 58.5%, big win for them over the weekend. TCU, 57.9%. They snuck away and got that win over Texas Tech. Did not cover that, though. Colorado, 57.8%, because we know they have Sanders there. And Oklahoma State, 56.9%. Very disappointing year for the Cowboys. Sanders and
Travis
Hunter. Yep.
Travis Hunter, yeah. I thought that's what I thought I was going to say the wrong name. I watched that game a lot against Cincinnati, and they were very good. They were the dominant team in the second half, and that means Deion Sanders he has a professional. He's got an NFL coaching staff. These guys all have NFL experience, so they're making the right decisions, and they made all the right adjustments in the second half. Cincinnati's coach is very good. Satterfield, another guy that I have a lot of respect for, but he got out-coached in that game. Maybe it was he got out-talented, But Colorado, again, at the end of the first half, instead of settling for a field goal, they threw deep, and Travis Hunter makes a great catch, touchdown, and Colorado goes up 10 at the half and ended up cruising in the second half. They were solid. They were really good the entire game, Colorado, and I'm impressed with them. They're going to drop off this list in a couple weeks because they found a running back and they found a ground game, which makes them much more difficult to defend.
Yep.
This is a good football team, and they're bowl eligible. We're going to see Colorado in a bowl game because of Deion. Now, will we see Deion back next year at Colorado? Because his son, Shador, will not be there, and he has followed his son everywhere he's gone, or his son has followed him. There could be an NFL coaching spot for Deion opening up here in Vegas. And Tom Brady has been Shador's quarterback coach for the last 3 years, and he owns 5% of the Raider football team. There's a lot of coincidences there. Deion Sanders may be the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Wow.
So you don't have to read between the lines.
Very, very interesting.
And Shador Sanders might be the quarterback for the Raiders in the future.
We will see. It's not a bad point you make there. But now, very impressive for Colorado. They are now 23rd in the AP. BYU, the only team that is undefeated in the Big 12. No, I'm sorry, that's not true. BYU and Iowa State are both undefeated there. BYU just 5-0, Iowa State 4-0 in conference. Kansas State and Colorado are the next two at 4-1. Everybody had Colorado still pretty low in the Big 12, but I mean, that conference has been shocking. Here at the bottom, Oklahoma State 0-5 and Utah 1-4. The Wildcats 1-4, who had a tremendous year last year as well. There was a coaching change there, but yeah, I think it's exciting. It's fun for the Buffaloes there. I do just want to bring up LSU. Not a bad year. They've only had two bad losses. Not bad losses. They've just had two losses. USC and a neutral, and then this A&M. So actually a better year than I expected. Their defense is much improved from last year. And then USC could very easily be undefeated. They lost all of those games by one score. Just very unfortunate and couldn't close out the games.
Well, they are 8 points. I have 8 points between Georgia and LSU. Difference-wise, if you put Jaden Daniels back as the quarterback of LSU, that's going to be adding 8 points to that team. They would be tied for number one in the country, and they wouldn't have two losses. They would be undefeated right now, but they don't. But they're still. I have them ranked 10th in the country, tied with Notre Dame.
Wow.
They're still very, very good football team. And you're right. The losses they've had, USC and a neutral, which they actually had the game controlled, and they were very unfortunate to lose that. This past weekend, they were up against a really good team on the road, and that happens.
Yeah, and there was a quarterback change for A&M, momentum shift there, and then the game just kind of got away from them. But let's go to our pace of play. We'll start with the quickest pace of play here. Now, this doesn't correlate quite as well as our run and pass percentage with ATS, but we will have the numbers again here tomorrow for you. South Florida, quickest team right now. And this is what you wanted to talk about because it's been East Carolina all season long as the quickest pace of play. And now they are in number 2, followed up by Utah State, 22.4 seconds per play. Pittsburgh, 22.7, who is still undefeated and very good against the spread as well this year. North Texas, 22.9. Ole Miss, number 6. Mississippi State, 23.4, who is getting more competitive. Did have a tough game last week against Arkansas. Oklahoma State, number 8, 23.6. Jacksonville State, and then number 10, San Jose State at 23.8 seconds per play.
So Alex Golsh, the head coach of South Florida, he was an assistant to Josh Heupel at Tennessee for 1 year and 2 years underneath him at Central Florida. He's a Josh Heupel clone. And he's going to throw the football, and they're going to play fast. And he has done that with South Florida. He's got a really good quarterback in Byron Brown, and you got to make sure Brown's always playing because he has had a couple of injuries this year. And the one game I remember, I think it was Memphis. He didn't play that game. They scored 3 points. But Brown returned last week and flying over. Was their first game, actually, their second game. They're 2-4-1. 4-2-1 under. 4-2-1 under. They've only gone over twice, but it was their last game. They're going to score a lot of points here at the end of the year, especially if Brown is healthy. for South Florida. So that's the real deal. They play fast because they want to. East Carolina may slow down a little bit now.
Right.
Utah State has to play fast because they're trailing.
Yeah, their defenses.
And Pittsburgh, they want to play fast. They're undefeated, and they look good doing it with a freshman quarterback, I might add. North Texas, another up-tempo team. Game I gave out this week, I thought they would beat Tulane. I thought it would come down to the wire and the last team to score wins, but Tulane really dominated. North Texas tried to make a comeback. I think they missed an extra point in the fourth quarter, or that game falls 7, and North Texas covers on everyone's ticket. I took +8 and tied. Would have been nice to win it, though. Next 5.
I actually went through all of them. Yeah, but if you want to give any thoughts on any of these.
Well, Mississippi and Lane Kiffin, he's always up-tempo and wants to play fast. Gundy with Oklahoma State, another team that they throw the ball and want to play fast. The one that runs is Jacksonville State, and that's Rich Rod, and he loves to spread it out, run the football, but they play extremely fast and they run scores up. So again, he's covered a couple in a row now. Jacksonville State's playing really good football. Let's
go ahead and go to our 10 slowest pace of play, slow and methodical. We're going to start off with number 1 at Army, 33.7 seconds. Monroe, again, here on this list, 32.9. Vandy, 31.4. Tulane, you just brought them up, 31.2. And NC State at 31 seconds per play.
All teams that have, done well. NC State, I can't see and recall what their ATS record is, but I know Tulane, Vandy, and Army all been great spread cover teams this year. So
NC State, another one that's had the quarterback injury.
Yeah, they did, and a shame. McCall retired because of concussions. So we know now that it's not a guessing game whether he's going to play or not. He's called it a career, and he's probably going to be a great coach because he's a very good quarterback at Coastal Carolina, and I thought he was a great addition for NC State.
Going 6 through 10, Houston, 30.8, tied with Michigan, 30.8. Michigan State, right there as well. And then number 9, UCLA, and Louisiana Lafayette at 30.4 seconds per play. Houston has gotten better throughout the season, and I think they will.
They just beat Utah this week.
Yes, they did.
Now, I know Utah's without, their quarterback, Cameron Rising, who's out for the year, so we don't have to worry about that injury. But that was a 5-point drop-off in their power rating. They're still a very good team, but when you lose a quarterback that good, and you have Houston on the slow side, playing slow against Utah without a quarterback and a good defense, that total is extremely low. I think I made it 29 last week and went under and won easily. It was 14-7 final. Michigan State on that list.
Yep.
And again, your grandfather, my dad, was here last Monday. He'll be in tomorrow. He's in town. He'll be here tomorrow. We may have him on for a little bit because he's got a great opinion and one of the best handicappers I still know today. Michigan State, both slow, but he had mentioned you can't just bet this blindly because there are some of these teams that are really efficient offensively, like Army's number 1 slowest.
Right.
But they score 40-some points a game because their offense is so efficient. So it's always the equation is how efficient is the offense, how efficient's the defense, and how is the pace of the team. You have to go into all of those factors before betting a total. But when you look at Michigan State, both play slow. Both have had poor defenses or poor offenses, poorly efficient on offense, but very good defenses. That makes for a very good under, and that game went under.
Depending on what number you did get, because it was bet under, did drop down. A little bit. So hopefully you got the best of the number, and that's why you have to shop around and bet early, especially if you like that. How about Michigan? That was a great cover and win for them, and I knew they would be ready and get up for that game against their in-state rival.
It was great because we had them as well. So we had a bet on them. So
but that was nice. From the loss the week before, it was looking like their season was almost done. 21-7 loss to Illinois before hosting Michigan State.
I was worried we weren't going to get to 10 o'clock, and we have more to talk about, and we only have 3 minutes left.
Well, that's it for our pace of play. But I am glad that you brought that up about Army. Slow, but I think they're actually, do you have your number?
Which one?
Because I was just filling out my book yesterday. I don't think they've had one under game, Army.
Oh, maybe not.
I think they might be 6-0 or 7-0 to to the over this year.
So, yeah, I have everything on the computer, but it's so much. I know, Ryan. I know. I'm back. Oh, no, they have gone under. Army went under. I have them under with FAU.
Okay.
24-7, and they went under against UAB in a 44-10 game, so the total was much higher. And I'm going off the closers. A lot of times, ATS records can be different from here to here to here to here because of what number you're using, what sportsbook you're using at times. So,
yeah.
But they've gone under twice.
Okay. Maybe it was Navy I was looking at, but
we
you're right.
We didn't do our top 10.
We didn't do our top 10, and we have 2 minutes left, so we'll have to kind of go through this a little bit quicker than we wanted. But
I think we want to do those, though.
Yes.
Very important. Very important. The top 10 is more important than the pace of play, I think, because we're talking about, strength of these teams. And I'm kind of happy about the way some of these teams played this past weekend because people have been down on Alabama.
Yes. And so now my top 5, each of them are 0.5 away from each other. No, top 6, because I actually have a tie there at 5, which, thank you, Ryan. He made that look a lot better than I did. Number 1, I still have Ohio State, and I did bring them down. Barely survived that game this past weekend, but still have them as the number 1 team. Number 2, I have Georgia, just half a point below Ohio State. Number 3, Texas. Oregon, just half a point below Texas. And then coming in at number 5, I do have Alabama. And then after that, big, impressive win over Navy, I have Notre Dame tied with Alabama. Then I have a cluster here at number 7 as well with Clemson, Miami, Florida, and Tennessee, all with the same rating there. And then tied at number 10, I have Ole Miss and Penn State. There's a little bit of a drop-off, though, 1.5 from Bama and Notre Dame, then to that 3-way tie there.
Yeah, and again, my numbers between the top 9 teams in the country, 5-point difference. And the top 8 teams, I only have a 3.5-point difference between the top 8 teams. So I'm definitely going to have a big underdog ticket on somebody to win the national championship soon. I haven't figured it out who it is yet. I'll probably start to look at that maybe this week after I get done with all the college basketball teams and try to find a team that I want to root for.
So we have to look
college football.
You got to look through the rest of their schedule, right?
Yeah.
Make sure they have the.
And I have that done. Remember,
yes,
I've got every game rated out. So I'm going to run those win-loss records and figure out where we're at. Now we'll jump to mine right now. Number 1, I have Georgia. You have Ohio State. I think the difference between the two teams is Georgia likes to play good teams. Ohio State, for years, has been scared to play anybody good outside of the conference. They play the weakest non-conference schedule. They had to play Oregon, and they lost at Oregon. That's not a bad loss, though. And they're my number 2 team. But I think the difference between those two is Georgia is a team that will play better teams. They don't care. Texas tied for 3rd with Oregon. Again, Texas barely gets by Vanderbilt, but at least they got by them, and they're going to get better. I think Texas gets better as we go. Alabama, impressive, lots of pressure on the head coach, lots of pressure on the team. They responded for Kalen DeBoer, so that's good. Penn State, their quarterback Aller was hurt this week. He is questionable. But it's only a 1.5 drop if they go to their backup. They've got a really good backup quarterback.
He looked very good.
He is very good. Very good quarterback.
I almost thought Drew Aller lost his job for a second.
Doesn't have quite the experience that Aller has, but very, very talented quarterback. Tennessee, Mississippi tied for 7th. Miami, number 8 or 9. I'm expecting Miami one of these days to have a bad game. That's just Mario Cristobal. And LSU, Notre Dame at number 10 with Clemson still knocking on the door, and USC. Even as bad as USC's record are, they played the toughest schedule in the country, and that's why they have losses, because they've played a really difficult schedule. They're going to make a run here. They're not going to be in the final 12 because their record, which is a shame. They're deserving of it talent-wise, and at the end of the year, we'll be making an argument, should they be in the final 12 or not. It's
tough, too, because, there's a few of our top 10 teams right now that have a chance of not making it because of the win-loss record, but they are very, very talented. Bama, yeah, you're right. A shutout against Missouri. And that's a really good defense.
Cook got hurt again, the quarterback from Missouri. He was injured again in that game, and a big reason why that, they were kept out of the end zone.
I do just want to ask, is coaching go into this? Because that Oregon-Ohio State game, Dan Lanning outcoached
Ryan Day.
Ryan Day, thank you. I'm like, I know it's a very simple name. So, and then you've got Kirby Smart right there at number 1. Kind of goes into it a little bit as well.
There's no doubt. I think most of these coaches on this list is a very good head coach, but in their own right, they do have some weaknesses as well.
Right.
So
there we are. 10:02. That's it for us today.
Yeah.
One more time. Do you remember our 4-teamer? Or do you want me to run through it?
Yeah, run through it.
Okay, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers -6 at home against the Giants. We've got the over in the Dodgers-Yankees game, over 8.5. Don't go over 9 if you're going to follow us. We've got Winnipeg Jets -110 at home against Toronto. And then we have the San Antonio Spurs +2.5 at home against the Houston Rockets. That's it for us today with our Sports Equinox Day. For Kenny White, I'm Alex White. Thank you again, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining us each and every morning. Remember, you can find Sports by the Book 7 days a week in the morning, 9 a.m. most days, 8 a.m. on Saturday. And then, of course, 3 Football Frenzy evening shows at 3 p.m. on Monday and Thursday. So that is tonight. Make sure you look out for that. And then Friday from 2 to 4 with the Bookmakers. For everybody behind the glass, thank you so much for getting us going and sticking with us today. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Kenny White and I back on the desk at 9 a.m. here on Sports by the Book.